watching the night sky or a beautiful sunrise. There's so much they hold, and just like the old stars, I see that you've come so far to be right where you are. How bold is your soul? I won't give up on us, even if the skies get rough. I'm giving you all my love. I'm still looking up, and when you're needing your space to do some navigating, I'll be here patiently waiting to see what you find. 'Cause even the stars, they burn. Some even come to the earth, and we've got a lot to learn, and God knows we're worth it. No, I won't give up. I don't want to be someone who walks away so easily. I'm here to stay and make the difference that I can make. Our differences, they do a lot to teach us how to use the tools and gifts we got. Yeah, we got a lot at stake. And in the end, you are my friend. And yes, we did intend for us to work. We didn't break, we didn't burn. We had to learn how to bend without our world caving in. I had to learn what I got and what I'm not and who I am. And I won't give up on us, even if the skies get rough. I'm giving you all my love. I'm still looking up, still looking up. I won't give up on us. God knows I'm tough enough, and we've got a lot to learn, and God knows we're worth it. I won't give up on us, even if the skies get rough. I'm giving you all my love. I'm still looking up.
Hello everyone and welcome to our Sunday service for the Church of Union. In this week's meditation we are going to receive a vision for the next chapter on our Ascension journey. In order to prepare the space for that, give yourself the emotional space, make yourself comfortable, and take a few deep breaths. Notice how you feel in your heart space. and let your thoughts be guided towards the next chapter on your ascension journey. Remain present with yourself and let your feelings and thoughts guide you to the vision for your next chapter. Where is it that your journey is headed? And how do you envision this next chapter of positive transformation and change? Release any resistance and open yourself up to love and to that divine vision. Imagine how it feels like to arrive in that beautiful new vortex, in that beautiful new upgrade. Imagine your desires fulfilled in that space here. How does it feel like? And is there any picture that you are seeing? Any sound that you are hearing? Is there any location coming to mind for you? Who is surrounding you in that next chapter? And are you feeling supported there? How does your living space look like? Bookmark this feeling for a moment. And then envision how you are shifting from your current vortex to this next vortex. And how these areas in your life are effortlessly shifting to that new vortex. And you can affirm in your heart, if it feels good to you, I am changing divinely and effortlessly. And then take a moment to ground yourself, relax in your body, take a deep breath, and enjoy the rest of our Sunday service.
Hello everyone, I'm Christy, and I have the privilege to do today's card reading for the Sunday service. And a few cards were flying out from the Sacred Forest Oracle card deck from Dennis Lin. And it says, enter a secret dimension to discover the truth of your soul. So it feels kind of it's time to go within, because the topic of today's Sunday sermon is about manifesting a new vortex, like a new vibrational harmony. And so the first card is perfect, the old spirit wisdom, because before kind of like you can enter a new vortex, you have to go within, right? And like the number is 27, which equals 9. So it's kind of the ending of an old cycle on your hero's journey. And I love how the booklet said, for example, that the owl is also called sometimes the night eagle. So to see everything from a higher perspective, what you learned, right? Every lesson that you learned in your last chapter of your life, to really extract everything from it and to see every detail from above. And the woman is kind of like already like also with her body language kind of going within. And you can see like kind of little shadows of wings, but they are not completely clear yet. So she's kind of preparing to go into the cocoon before the transformation can happen. So I really feel it's important, like, to really learn your lessons so that you can enter a newer vibration, right? And the funny thing is that the second card is butterfly spirit. So she is already coming out of her shell, of the cocoon, so to speak, and she has the pearl in her hand and what she kind of like gained. And she is like embodying her divine self, right? She is like light-hardened, and before it was kind of like in the forest. Now she's above the forest, so she entered a higher vibration. And of course, like the more you let go of what you are not, that's everything what is happening in truth, the more together with God you enter like newer vibrations and you ground there. You feel lighter and lighter on your journey. You feel more freedom, right? And she looks like very happy and playful and knowing like who she is. So that's a beautiful thing in the transformation journey, right? And so along this transformation, challenges might come up. So the next card is Willow Spirit, flexibility. Right, the old vortex will try to pull you back in, and you have to be very, very persistent and reaffirming your choices. And I feel the guidance from God is to not be stubborn or when the challenges are coming, but like the willow, being with God's flow, right? Doing the mirror exercise, the moment you face a challenge or a block, or when kind of the old energy tries to pull you back. And she's like very free, right? She's very surrendered. And that is kind of the key, right? Instead of control or trying to force something, to surrender to God and to the healing, to let go of ego, more and more of fear. And you just know it's for you. You can do it. And your divine self is in truth already like who you are, right? So it's a beautiful addition to what will happen on your way to the new vortex. And the last card is also a tree spirit. It's oak spirit, ancient oak spirit, strength. So it's kind of when you already entered the new vibration, to ground it, right? You are really able to speak your truth. You mastered kind of like all the challenges already you're coming home. Yeah, it's beautiful that there's even a door that looks like a cozy home that you can ground into your new vibration, right? You're really like, it's important, like, to, when you enter a new vibration, to ground it in, and you will really get to know yourself better because you really reached a new level, and you feel kind of maybe like the rock or like this tree, right? Unshakable, like more and more. So it's a beautiful confirmation, like, what will happen on your journey to a new vortex. So I wish you like a beautiful rest of your Sunday. Take care and see you very soon. Bye.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for the Church of Union Sunday service. I am Kenesha, and I have the privilege of introducing our executive ministers, Jason and Chrissy, in their sermon today on how they share the teaching of union has helped them transcend certain situations in their life with peace. And I really loved this sermon because I deeply resonated with what they were moving through, but in my own way when it came to transcending my family during this time. And that can be kind of a big topic where when you are on the journey of healing and really coming to know yourself, you find that some relationships no longer align, and that can include biological family. And I am very grateful for the teachings of union because this has helped me really align with what is for my highest good instead of what the world tells me that I should do. Now, transcending family and transcending into a space of family harmony is definitely a process. It wasn't something that just happened overnight, and it wasn't just a decision that was made to just release people and remove them from my life. It really required a lot of inner work and really getting clear that I was moving from a place of peace and a place of love so that I could truly transcend this energy in a very peaceful way. So, what that looked like for me was it started off as getting clear on what family for me meant. And I had come to the realization that it felt like chaos, it felt just a lot of drama, and that's really what I resonated family with. And so as I started using this work and going within and feeling my feelings, I started to get clear that what I was taught wasn't actually of God, and it's not what God created family for. And so it required me to start putting up boundaries. And in order to have healthy relationships, boundaries are required. And this is a way to start transcending codependent relationships. And as I started doing that and really aligning deeper with this work, I started to see relationships that I've had since childhood and family relationships really start to go a different direction. They just were not choosing the same at the core, and there was just a lot of contrast that would come up. And so as I continued to choose my peace, I found myself becoming farther and farther away from them because we just weren't in alignment anymore. And as I got really deep in healing with family because my twin flame had mirrored some things around family, I had to really be honest with myself. And if it was in alignment with my union, and if it was in alignment with the teachings of union. And in truth, it was not. And so, as I chose to really love myself in this place and go to God and ask for clarity, it was very clear on the outside that things were not aligning with how I felt inwardly. I felt peaceful, but people on the outside just were not aligning in those spaces. And that's okay. You can have compassion for them and you can release them gently and lovingly. And as I did that, I was able to make space for my true divine family to come in. And it allowed me to really see who is truly in alignment with me and who are loving me unconditionally and really desire to see me thrive over those who are just here to take from me. And so now when you make choices that are for you, you will be guided perfectly by God. And I had a fear that if I released my family, I was going to be alone. I'm a single mom, so I felt that I was getting rid of half of my village. But if I was really honest with myself, they really weren't giving to me and my boys in a loving or unconditional loving way. And so, as I released them with peace and with love in my heart, and then physically in my reality, which was actually very peaceful for all of us, I felt this deep sense of freedom. I felt like I could actually relax into my life because a lot of the trauma that I experienced and a lot of the upsets that I was still experiencing came from family and just them trying to pull me back into the old vortex. As you heal, you will have people in your life who feel like you're changing and you're becoming a different person. And in truth, you are. You are aligning with your true divine self. And in return, God has brought in people in my life that have filled those spaces, filled the space of my, not that anyone can replace anyone, but just filled those spaces and where I felt I was lacking that motherly or fatherly love, or where I felt like I was kind of an only child. God has really brought people into my life to show me that He never abandons you, and He will always replace what you let go with something that is in alignment with you. And that felt really supportive and really loving. And so I found that as I've really chosen to align with my truth here, I've had more abundance come in the months that I have truly released things that no longer align with me. I've seen the relationships shift in a more peaceful way with my own children because of the healing that I'm doing around my own parents and around my own childhood. And I really am seeing a difference with my twin flame in the places where we were having contrast and upset around family. We were really starting to harmonize in that space too. And so Jason and Chrissy talk about how there can be challenges in transitioning into that new space, and you'll be pulled back with the old vortex wanting to pull you back. But as you really choose to claim your new choice and align with that, you'll find as you release resistance and choose your peace, you can naturally relax into that new space and that new energy of what you had just released. And it's okay. You can do it with compassion, you can do it with love, and maybe those people will come back around and come back into alignment with you after they've done their own healing. But it's really important that you are following your heart and that you're really choosing what is best for you, and going to God for those things. I always recommend before making a big life choice that you go to God. And for me, I go to God for even the littlest choices, like what am I wearing today, or what should I eat kind of energy. It's just learning how to really build that relationship with God. And you'll realize that you are fully supported in anything and everything that you do. So I'm very grateful that the teaching of union has really helped me align my life to Christ consciousness, to oneness, to unconditional love, so that I can really allow myself to call that in and to have that harmony in every space of my life, because that's not something we're taught in this world. And that was also a big struggle for me, was coming from a Hispanic family. It's not normal to release your family. It's not common to not take care of your elders and take care of your parents. And there's this energy of you owe your family a relationship just because they are your parents. And in truth, you don't owe anyone anything. And the teaching of union has really helped me recognize that it's really important to put God first, and then myself and my union, and then everything else. And as I've done that and really made that my priority, my life has really aligned and it feels truly peaceful. It's probably the first time in my adult life where I genuinely feel happy, where I love waking up, where I am really having a great schedule and I'm just having a healthy relationship with myself and with life. And it's okay. You never have to feel guilty for the things that you have to let go of in order to get yourself there. And so I would really recommend that you take on the teaching of union and allow yourself to align your life in that. And I would also encourage you to tithe and donate to the Church of Union so that this message can be spread across the world and it can help people come into alignment with their best life and really be able to align with their true twin flame as well. And so I would just love to introduce Chrissy and Jason, and I hope you enjoy the sermon.
Welcome everyone to Church of Union Sunday service.
Hi everyone.
We're Jason and Chrissy, Twin Flames in Harmonious Union. We are your executive ministers for the service today. Let us start with our opening ohms, followed by our opening prayer.
Yeah, so if everyone just wants to take a very deep breath in and join us out loud or in your heart.
I am the only child of God, forever part of Him. I am created by Him in perfection, and there I always remain. My mind is my sanctuary, where I keep His holy creation sacred. I will only allow in His voice. I will only accept His word. Today, I will hear the word of God. I surrender myself to His teachings through His divine channel. I will honor what He has spoken and accept it as His will. I will be obedient to His word, for this is my salvation. In Christ's name, Amen. So, what are we talking about today?
Today we want to talk about the journey we've taken as we've transcended the military.
Okay.
We've done a lot of work here, and we've really applied Jeff and Shalea's teachings and the teachings of union to our life, and it's really supported us in transcending this energy very peacefully and efficiently. So I want to talk about that today.
Sure.
And so, like, the first thing I guess is, I think that whenever I did a post about this not too long ago, but whenever you're going through a huge life transition or there's something going on in your life, it's very natural to reflect on that journey. And I'd have to say that, I do believe that the military was part of my purpose work. I've always felt that way. And it is a way that we've actually, served our karma, so to speak, from previous situations and lives. And I remember when I was a little girl in church having a vision, and my family wasn't, overly religious in any way. I grew up Catholic. I went to CCD, all the basic things to be Catholic. But, I had a vision one day in church, and I saw, it was like my funeral, and I saw a casket over, a flag over my casket, and then I also saw that I was an altar girl during my life. I didn't really know what these things meant, to be honest. I didn't know what it meant at the time to have a flag over your casket. I didn't realize that meant, serving in the military. But, I did know what being an altar girl meant because I went to church. So that was one of the first things I did, was I became an altar girl. I was an altar girl for a really long time, almost through most of, I think almost to high school, because I eventually got paid, and, I got tips for doing special services and things. And so I thought that was cool to, make some money, doing something that I liked. And I really learned the, following your heart, you can, you can be served, you can be supported when you follow your heart, right? And so then later in high school, and not even in high school, but it was only during a college orientation, I found out about Army ROTC and I joined it, right? And so I didn't know really anything about the military. I knew the military existed, but like I didn't know much about it. It wasn't like I had a military family or anything like that. I just saw this orientation on ROTC and I thought it was really interesting. And I ended up just following my heart and joining, which like my family was really not too happy about at the time. This was before 9/11. There was a lot of things going on, but anyways, I thought like it just felt right to me and I fell in love with it. And like by my sophomore year, they were paying for all my college and things like that. And I found my way into the military. It was very challenging for me, to be honest. It was like it didn't come natural to me in any way. Like the physical requirements were really hard and tough, challenging for me. Everything else was honestly quite easy, but like that physical component was very difficult for me through the entire 20 years. And so like it was just something that I always had to work on, right? But overall, like you get programmed into putting the military first, and you get programmed into training a particular way and behaving a particular way like a soldier, and you're always on. Like they tell you that, you know, you're never off as a soldier. You're a soldier 24/7. No matter what you do, you're reflecting the military and the army. And so like you take on that persona, and the last 6 to 8 months, I've been letting that go, right? I've been really like stepping back, and that was a process. And they tell us that retirement is a process. It's not a task, and that it takes time to release it from your consciousness. And I remember even working on this with Jeff in sessions, like releasing the army from my consciousness and really moving and directing all of my attention into my purpose work, which is like supporting the Church of Union and the Mind Alignment process and Twin Flames Universe. I deeply desire to do that. I genuinely love what I do every day for this community and the organizations. And that's all I want to do all day. And so it took a while for me, though, to release this programming from the military.
Sure. Yeah, I can imagine that everyone is kind of in the same standard, right? And there's protocol, and you follow protocol because that's what you have to do to like keep each other alive, right? Essentially, right. That's like why it's there, and like you're kind of hammered with that over the course of 20 years, and there's a letting go process to that where it becomes no longer. It was a way of life, and now it's no longer a way of life, and you're transitioning into a new way of life, a whole new happening, right?
Right. There was a lot of, when I was starting to really shift my energy, I felt a lot of guilt. I moved through an immense amount of guilt. And I felt like I had to be somewhere. I felt like I was doing something wrong by not being in a particular place or doing a particular thing. And I moved through an immense amount of guilt. And I knew it was guilt. And I knew like I wasn't doing anything wrong logically, but I felt that I was doing something wrong. And so that was out of alignment with what I was moving into. And so as I sat and I felt through all of that and like really released it and loved myself and practiced, the mirror exercise, what I realized, and one of the biggest turning points for me was I realized I had made a different core choice than the people I was serving with in my unit. Like I was choosing to get out of service, and every single one of them was choosing to be in service and continuing to serve, right? And I was choosing to end my service. And a lot of times this caused like strife in our relationship because they're like, you're not gone yet, ma'am. Or, you haven't left yet. You got this many months left. And I'm like, I do, but I only have that many months left. You know what I mean? Like I've got stuff I have to do. But to them, like the mentality is, and I know this because I used to be on the other side and I understand the mentality that they're all holding, was that you like run to the finish line, and you 100% do. But if I didn't start taking care of myself at a particular time, I would have been like sacrificing what I needed when I needed to do it in order to do something for somebody else, and it felt really bad. And so like I had to honor that I was making a different core choice than everyone around me. So therefore our priorities were different, our values were different. And at the core, like we were no longer choosing the same thing. So I had to put a lot of boundaries up, and I had to be very communicative in what I would do, my left and right limits, where I would be. And I was of course supported in doing those things because, like they tell us to do this, but we have to actually do it. Like no one's going to do it for me. Like I realized the army wasn't going to break up with me. Like, I had to break up with the army, right? And so when I realized that and I started putting that in place, a lot of things shifted for us, and a lot of energy was starting to move through.
Right, and from what I noticed was, you know, they tell you to do. There's a very long checklist that someone has to complete in order to out process.
Yeah.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
and they tell you, hey, take 6 to 8 months or a year or whatever it is to out process yourself. Start letting go, out process, do all the things, and the system itself is not set up to be supportive or helpful or efficient or just in any way
organized
for anyone to out process. So
yeah,
there's
very, like,
there's extreme diligence in getting the things done, getting the paperwork done, getting all of the examinations, getting things turned in. There's a lengthy process there where no department, no one thing, and it's all scattered, so no one thing is made easy for anyone. The system is like one of those things where if we make it hard enough, maybe they'll rethink this and not leave the...
And that happens a lot. Like, a lot of people end up not leaving. They end up staying longer. I don't necessarily think that's the reason why, but I can't imagine it's not a contributing factor.
Sure.
And so, like, you have to be prepared in so many different ways to transition and move from one vortex to another. And that's what really this is about. It's about moving vortexes, moving your vibrational set point. We're literally shifting our entire vibrational set point of our
And I think that's
life.
what I'm speaking to, is when you're moving into that new vortex. Like, this is a whole, you know,
right.
You've been in the military for 20 years, and that's what you know, right?
Yeah.
And like, you're moving into a place in your life where that's no longer a way of life for you, and that's a huge change. That's an enormous change. Right.
Yeah.
And so basically that's its own vortex, right? And to step into that place where you have the freedom to coach and freedom to do map and all the things that really fill your heart up is a big vortex leap, right?
Yeah.
And so all of these things that you had to do to out process and turn in all your stuff and, you know, get everything set and organized is that pull.
Right. And like the pull is also how the system's created, the invitations into like being abused, you know, like or choosing to see the good and being optimistic through the process. Like we talk about this in a different sermon, but like it was the same as we had to go to this place 3 different times to get something done. And, you know, every time we got a little further along in completing the process. And that's what we focus on instead of like the invitation into being mistreated that was consistently available to us. That it's not just, you know, in the military, it's in the world. Like, you know, this energy of being mistreated is across the board in every area. And the army is a reflection of our society. And so like that's those societal patterns are within, you know, any organizational framework. And so like when you see that, you have a choice to take it on, or you have a choice to put boundaries up with it and let it go and not allow it into your new vibrational set point.
Right. You have to pull, regardless of military or society, it's the same thing to pull yourself out of it and experience heaven or whatever it is, whatever your heaven is, right? What fills your heart up, and like that takes a significant amount of, you know, hard work and perseverance, persistence, and, you know, a whole list of things that like to pull yourself out of that vortex, the old, and to step into the new, because it's not going to change too much in where you were, right? In society is like pretty content on making things difficult, right? The military is pretty content on making things difficult for people to any particular degree, but like you have to be the one to make that choice and then follow the road out of it and into, you know, what it is that you really desire for yourself.
Yeah, you want to come into a place when you're transitioning in whatever you're doing that you've prepared as much as possible. Like you've done everything you possibly can do to prepare, and then it just comes down to execution. And that's really what Jason and I have been focusing on for about the last 6 to 7 months, is preparing for this shift, preparing for this move. We've done everything from like going through every room in our home to identify if everything that is in our home brings us joy. You know, we studied the Art of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo. It's actually a really good book if you're going through a major transition, because it helps you reset things in your mind. I spent time, you know, looking at, one day we laid out all of my military paraphernalia, and I had so much of it. And this is common for anyone that's been in any kind of like organization for a while. You just pick up things along the way. And they had like emotional and sentimental value to them. But like the question was, did they bring me joy?
They were ugly.
You know, and like that, it's true. Like they did not match. They've been in the closet for the last 2 years, 2+ years. They were in my office, in my last duty station. But like here, like there's nowhere in my home where most of this fits. It just doesn't. And so I really had to look at it and be like, okay, there were some pieces that I was like, okay, I'm keeping these. Like they mean something to me. Like I'll enjoy them if they're hung up in the right places. But everything else was really something that I could part with, right? Mm-hmm. I went through, we have these things called I Love Me books. It has all your paperwork in it for your entire career. I went through every single piece of paper. There were even some in there from like when like you had the green and white lettering, and most of you probably don't even know, because if you're like, you know, under 35, you might not remember the old school typewriter type of printing. But like I had to take all of that. It was 10 pounds of paper with my social security number like all over it, and take it and get rid of it. But that all takes time, right? That all takes emotional processing. Looking back at like where I was, you know, 15, 20 years ago, and seeing where I am now, and feeling into that, and what I've accomplished, you know. And so that all took emotional energy, and that requires rest and self-care and time to process. Sometimes, like, you know, I even went through grieving and mourning and feeling really sad, and also very excited. And so, like, it's okay to take time when you're transitioning to feel all of those feelings and allow yourself the space to process them, so you can do everything from a place of peace. If you don't do that, you'll get very frustrated at the little things that happen that aren't in accordance with the plan. And then, you know, when your plan isn't going the way you want and you get super mad and angry, then you're in a place of control, because you're trying to do exactly what the plan says, and it just doesn't work out that way. And so it's okay to, you know, go with the flow and allow God to guide you.
Mm. Yeah, and like, what about the dynamic of our family, for example? Like,
Yeah.
you're letting go of this big career in one thing and stepping into another, but like,
Yeah.
What can you say about like the family dynamic? Like, is it just you going through
No,
this?
the whole family's going through this. Like,
Mm-hmm.
You're going through this, the girls are going through this. Our whole family is going through this transition together. So, like, for example, when we pull out anything to look at it, the girls are very aware something is going on, because a room isn't the way it always is, and there's stuff everywhere. And then they get very anxious, and, like, you know, they're wondering what's happening. Why is stuff being moved around in the house, like things like that. And so, like, they need time to process, and they need attention, because in reassurance that everything's going to be okay, and that we're going to move to our new home, and it's going to have a yard and a fence and all those good things for them, right? It's a process.
And like there's another part of it where you're, just because you're going, you know, you're transitioning out of the military, like
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of support. Like, I support you heavily.
Absolutely.
The dogs support you heavily. And so, like, we're all there supporting you through this. And just as if, like, we're going through it too, you know? And so, like, that's the dynamic of Twin Flames, right?
Where, I love, like, this part of Twin Flames. I just love this about Twin Flames. Yeah.
It's not just, like, your thing. Like, oh, I'll be over here doing this, right? Like
we learned this.
we have to balance our energy in a way that's healthy for our relationship because we're twin flames, right?
Right.
And so you have these things to do, and my support. Maybe I'm driving you, maybe not, maybe like just helping you in a bunch of different ways, right? But like you have something to say, so.
Yeah, I do. I was waiting for you.
No, I don't want to.
You reminded me of, thank you.
Sure.
Give me space. You reminded me that we learned this really early. I was going to a doctor's appointment and I drove myself, and it was actually very unpleasant, the doctor's appointment. I was really upset. I had to sit in my car for a really long time because I couldn't drive because I needed to feel my feelings. And so we realized I felt like really I don't know, I don't want to say weak. I just felt out of balance, right? And so we realized that like we need to do these things together as twin flames. And so since then, we've really been doing the majority of these things together, whether it's just like Jay drives with me and we're talking and processing in the car, like he comes in to help me with things. It doesn't matter what we're going to go do. We can do it together, because it's something that they actually they advise is that your spouse goes through a lot of this with you, but we're actually doing that. And so like I found it to be greatly supportive to have him with me in these things, because we can move through things a lot faster together and we're a lot more balanced as we move through them.
Right. And that's what I wanted to say and note is that like whether you're, in union with your twin flame or not, like support them. Right? Yeah. Support them through whatever it is that they're going through, just as, you're going through this journey, and hopefully you're supporting yourself by loving yourself and doing the mirror exercise and all the tools to heal. But your twin also needs support emotionally and spiritually and psychologically and in all the ways. And so don't pile more on. Right? Support them, be compassionate, unconditionally love them. That's like the moral of the story, I think.
Yeah, I like that. And the other thing I wanted to mention is that I had just finished watching a TFAS class not too long ago, and I was sitting there reflecting, and I had a vision. And the vision was of, it was Jesus Christ was standing before me in his divine greatness, and with him was Paramahansa Yogananda was there, and Jeff and Shaleia were there, and I got extremely emotional when I visualized him, because that doesn't happen to me very often, but I visualized him, and it was like I don't know, he was always there, right? And so he just said, he was like, I'm very proud of you, and I got extremely emotional when I had that vision. And I realized, and Jeff and Shaleia and Paramahansa Yogananda were also, very proud. But it was just like this moment with Jesus Christ. And I realized that I had completed this. I had completed this portion of my journey. I had seen it through. I had completed the karmic debt, and I felt so incredibly liberated and, free. And I feel that way, and I feel that liberation coming more and more into my vibration as we do the final, tying of the bow here. Right. When we turned in my military equipment, for example, I felt liberated before leaving the building. I just felt so incredibly supported, so incredibly free. And it's because of everything that, Jason does for me. He's so supportive. And because of the structure we've created in our life, and because we're persistent and we're disciplined in embodying the teachings of union, and it brings us great freedom. Your twin flame union, I just feel so liberated in it. I feel so safe in being myself. I feel so incredibly nurtured and loved in the home that we've created for ourselves, and the container of our harmonious twin flame union that we continue to invest in. And that is priceless to me. It truly, truly is. And it's worth it. And it's worth the work that we do here to continue to grow, to continue to learn, and continue to thrive. And so whatever is going on in your life, how challenging it may be, I really invite you to continue to do it, to continue to embody this work. Find the areas within your life that don't feel good and change, right? Make those changes. Small little increments of change over time become really big, massive shifts. And you can do it. If Jason and I can do it, you can do it. And so if we leave you with anything, right, we recommend that you just continue to persist on loving yourself, loving God, loving yourself, loving your twin flame, and be willing to change your life. Be willing to identify when you're making different core choices than those people around you and put boundaries up. Identify what your dreams are and what you want, and identify where you're not taking care of yourself and start taking care of yourself, right? Make those shifts so that you can create the life of your desire.
Mm. Yeah. And, also do the inner route, right? Because it's not just about putting in your paperwork for retirement,
Yeah, no.
right? It's not just the physical actions that got you out of that and into the
it's that inner that's complete. So like I remember Shaleia saying in a class once that you complete a cycle, you complete a healing when you have a vision, right? That's when you know you've completed a healing cycle. When you've transcended something, you have a vision. And so I knew when I had that vision of Jesus Christ that I had completed a cycle, right? And so like know that you'll have that as you heal and as you continue to heal. Every time we do the mirror exercise, we feel relief, right? We feel that love coming back to us. And as you continue to heal something that keeps coming up in your life over and over and over again, know that when you heal it at the core, you'll receive a vision. And you can move forward with that vision into your next task, your next chapter of life. Yeah.
Cool.
So we invite you to join us for the closing prayer and alms. Father, I accept your word into my heart. I will honor your will in my life and will follow you without hesitation anywhere you ask. I know you guide me into your heart where I belong. I accept that you are everywhere and your teaching is in all things. God, I know you provide me clarity in this teaching of union that I may be forever in union with you. I accept that you are in me as you are in my brother. I will not deny my brother your word and will share your teaching with him in any way you ask and only as you ask. For when I share my salvation with him, I fully claim my salvation and return to you with him. In Christ's name, Amen.
Speaking this prayer in your heart means you have accepted that you are on the path of awakening to your true divine nature. This is what it means to be a unionist. Follow the teachings of union with God wherever you find them and purify your consciousness into perfect union with your Creator.
Now, take a nice deep breath in and please chant with us out loud or in your heart.
Thank you all for watching today's Sunday service. Thank you to everyone that's contributed today for today's Sunday service. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the Church of Union YouTube, and so that you have up-to-date notifications on new services. And thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, we'll see you if you are interested. We'll see you in tea time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you, Jason and Chrissy, for that beautiful sermon. I really loved how Chrissy had pointed out that when she made the choice to leave the military, that her twin flame fully supported her in this process. And when Jason said that when your twin flame is moving through something, it's truly important that you 100% support them as they move through it. And as you hold space for them, it really helps them move through and transcend the upset much quicker. I just love how they have truly implemented the teaching of union into their life, and how what seems like big transitions or really hard transitions, they do it with such grace and with such peace because they choose to implement the teaching. And I know that firsthand when you do call in support and you go to God for your support and He leads you to this space, He leads you to the community, it's because the answer is here. It's the answer of love, it's the answer of oneness, of unionism, and really choosing to align with everything that's in your highest good and letting go of those and things that aren't. And I also loved how she touched on just letting go of things in her own home. Chrissy, when she mentioned, does it bring you joy? And I started asking myself this question about everything. Including relationships. Does this relationship bring me joy? Does it give to me, as well as do I receive? Like, do I receive from it, and do I feel like I can give to it? And there's an equal give and take kind of energy when it comes to my relationships. And then same with the objects in my home. Does it bring me joy? And this really helps allow you to have a non-attachment to things. And this is going to be really important in this journey, is to not attach to anything and to really choose to trust when God is guiding you to let something go. He's always going to replace it with something better. He's always going to make sure that you're taken care of there. You're never going to be abandoned, and that you are always loved and supported. So if you are here and you are wondering if the teaching of union is for you, know that it is. That's why you are guided here, and that you are going to be fully supported in really manifesting the life of your dreams, the life of your true, authentic, highest self. And really claim that for yourself. You're 100% supported, and you're only going to find that your life gets better when you truly implement this work into your life. It really feels like things that felt impossible or felt like they could never change absolutely do because of this work. And it's just up to you to go within and really allow that to be a lifestyle for you, to allow that to become part of who you are, and to just trust the process as you do that. So I would love to invite you to visit our unionism.org page, where you can find our previous sermons. You will also be able to donate in tithes to contribute to the Church of Union's message to the world. I would also like to invite you to like and subscribe to the Church of Union YouTube channel, where you can find other Sunday services along with the discussions from our Unionism Spiritual Discussion Group. That is where you can also join us for our after church tea time, where you will find a panelist of unionists who just share with you what they took back from, or what they took from the service and the sermon, and allow them to just share what all they were able to receive from today. And you can join us there and ask questions and give your feedback as well. But other than that, I hope that you have a beautiful week. Thank you for joining us, and you take care.